It was 3:30 a.m. The room was shrouded in an oppressive silence, yet the fear lurking within that silence was almost tangible. Frank lay motionless in his bed. In the same room, two figures sat still, their lifeless eyes fixed on him, his parents' corpses. His father sat at the foot of the bed, while his mother had been placed on a chair, her body turned to face her son. Their wide-open eyes, devoid of life, added an even darker atmosphere to the room. The heavy, metallic scent of blood filled the air, suffocating and inescapable. Approximately 3 hours earlier, Frank had been startled by screams from the other side of the house. They had erupted so suddenly and violently that, for a moment, it felt as though his heart had stopped. The thought of investigating the source echoed in his mind, but fear had quickly overshadowed reason. Instead, he decided to head to the bathroom. His hands trembled as he opened the bathroom door, his ears straining to catch any faint sound. When he cracked the door open, his eyes were met with a horrifying sight. Thick, bright red blood smeared across the carpet. His knees almost gave out, but he forced himself to avert his gaze and hurried back to his room. He didn't look back. He didn't have the courage. Back in his room, he threw himself onto his bed and pulled the covers tightly over his body. One thought echoed in his mind. This has to be a dream. Yes, just a bad dream. But his attempts to convince himself were shattered when the creak of his bedroom door broke through the silence. Holding his breath, he peered out from beneath the covers. What he saw froze his mind in terror. A creature was dragging his parents' lifeless bodies into the room. It had a humanoid form, but it was anything but human. Its hairless, eyeless face was surrounded by a void of soulless emptiness. Its pale, deathly skin looked as though it had crawled out of a grave. A grotesque hump on its back shifted with each step it took. The creature's wheezing breaths echoed through the room, piercing Frank's heart like a knife. The creature carefully placed his father's bloodied body at the foot of the bed. Then, with an almost unsettling precision, it positioned his mother on the chair, adjusting her body to face Frank. After ensuring their positions were exact, it dipped its hands into the fresh blood dripping from his mother's neck. With its blood-soaked fingers, it began drawing demonic symbols on the walls. Slowly and methodically, it traced circles, adding intricate, hair-raising patterns. The air in the room grew heavier with each movement, thick with the weight of an unholy ritual. Finally, the creature wrote a dark message on the wall. As Frank watched this horrifying scene from under the covers, his eyes slowly adjusted to the darkness. The letters of the message became more visible, but he resisted the urge to read it. The shadow of fear wrapped tightly around him, trying to shield him from the reality of what was written. After completing its work, the creature slithered under the bed. Frank's breaths became shallow, the oppressive atmosphere pressing down on him. His breathing quickened, and tears streamed silently down his face, soaking into the pillow beneath him. As time dragged on, he began to accept the inevitability of his fate, trying to steel himself for the end. His gaze drifted to the wall. The darkness gradually gave way to shapes, then to words. When the message finally came into focus, an icy shiver ran through his entire body. "I know, you're awake.